In New York City, Larry Daley is a divorced aspiring inventor bouncing between jobs and apartments. His former wife Erica is sympathetic to his situation, but considers him a bad example to their 10-year-old son Nick, an elementary schooler who considers quitting ice hockey and plans to become a bond trader like his mother's fiancé Dawn when he grows up. While Larry worries that Nick admires Dawn instead of him, especially after Nick decides to invite Dawn to career day at his school. Larry is hired as the night security guard at the Museum of Natural History, replacing retiring guard Cecil Fredericks and his colleagues Gus and Reginald. Cecil gives Larry a special instructions manual, warning him not to let anything in or out. On his first night, Larry discovers that the museum's exhibits come to life after sunset, including Rexy, a Tyrannosaurus skeleton that behaves like a playful dog; Dexter, a mischievous stuffed capuchin monkey who destroys Larry's manual, along with other taxidermied animals, and later takes his keys. Rival miniature civilizations depicting the Old West, ancient Rome, and ancient Maya. A chewing gum-loving Easter Island Moai who calls Larry, Dum-Dum, American Civil War soldier mannequins. And wax models of Attila the Hun and some of his men, pyromaniacal Neanderthals, and Sacagawea, who is encased in glass and cannot hear anything. A horse-mounted Teddy Roosevelt rescues Larry from feuding miniature leaders Jedediah and Octavius, and explains that ever since an ancient Egyptian artifact, the golden tablet of Pharaoh Ahkmenrah, arrived in 1952, the exhibits come to life each night, but will turn to dust if left outside the museum at sunrise. As Teddy helps restore order, Larry learns that Teddy is in love with Sacagawea but is too shy to speak to her. Cecil, Reginald, and Gus check on Larry, who has decided to quit, but Nick and Dawn stop by to congratulate him on his new job. Larry decides to stay for his son's sake, and Cecil advises reading up on history. Larry is better able to control the exhibits, but is forced to extinguish a fire that the Neanderthals had caused in their own display, while Dexter steals Larry's keys again and unlocks a window, allowing a Neanderthal to jump out the window and escape onto the street, upon seeing a group of homeless people using a fire pit. Frustrated, Larry again decides to quit, and is unable to save the escaped Neanderthal from disintegrating from the rising sun, while his remains are swept up by a street sweeper. Nick witnesses museum director Dr. McPhee firing his father over the damaged Neanderthal exhibit, though Larry convinces McPhee to reconsider. McPhee gives him one last chance to prove himself and Larry clears up the misunderstanding with Nick. Rebecca Hutman, a museum guide and historian writing her dissertation on Sacagawea, believes Larry is mocking her when he tells her the museum's nighttime secret. Larry brings Nick to the museum, intending to show him the T-Rex coming to life, but nothing comes to life. They discover Cecil, Gus and Reginald stealing the tablet and have deactivated it to stop the exhibits from interfering. Like the exhibits, the elderly guards receive enhanced vitality from the tablet, and have plotted to steal it along with other valuable artifacts to fund their retirement and frame Larry for their thievery. Nick reactivates the tablet, bringing the museum back to life and a chase ensues throughout the museum, But the chase is halted when Cecil snatches the tablet away and locks Nick and Larry in the Egyptian room. Larry releases Ahkmenrah's mummy from his sarcophagus, and the pharaoh, who removes his cloth wraps to reveal himself as a fully living human, helps Larry and Nick escape. They find the other exhibits fighting amongst themselves, and Larry convinces them to unite to catch the guards and recover the tablet. Gus and Reginald are captured, while Cecil escapes in a Pony Express stagecoach. Teddy pushes Sacagawea out of Cecil's path and is sliced in half but survives, being made of wax. Larry pursues Cecil into Central Park, stopping him and regaining the tablet. Teddy finally bonds with Sacagawea as she repairs him with hot wax. Rebecca sees the exhibits returning to the museum. She realizes that Larry was telling the truth, and he later introduces her to Sacagawea. Teddy remarks that he is proud of Larry's work. Larry laments that he wasn't able to save everyone, believing that Jedediah and Octavius were both killed after the latter crashed his RC truck, only to be surprised when they return, alive and well. The next day, McPhee attempts to fire Larry after news reports about the night's strange events, such as the Neanderthals leaving cave paintings in the museum's subway station, and Rexy's dinosaur tracks in Central Park. But the publicity boosts museum attendance. Larry is rehired and celebrates that night with a party, with Nick, Rebecca and the exhibits in attendance. Cecil, Gus and Reginald are forced to work as museum janitors as punishment for their crimes, and they clean up after the party.